We are live,
Are
pal.
we? We're live.
We're live, pal. As Brent said
But
beforehand.
JR quote.
62, Andy.
62.
Yep. All right.
I think I can figure it out.
Huh?
Said I think I can figure it out.
Okay.
Watching the Royal Rumble made us blue. And now we're here on episode 62.
That's funny.
That's fairly accurate.
Do you want to do a story or something, Andy, real quick?
Yeah.
All right, word.
Grab the link.
Grab the
Volume
link.
down.
Wow, there was only 6 matches, so this is going to go pretty quick.
Forgot YouTube's used for other things that aren't Tony Robbins related. Seeing as how all I've watched for the last 6 days.
So wait, The Miz is now feuding with Rey Mysterio again, and the Mysterios. I thought that was. I thought they already had that feud.
Nope, that's happening.
I just read today that that well, I guess maybe we should save it for the actual podcast, but
Word. As soon as he puts it up, we'll
all right.
go.
YouTube live.
To
Live
that.
on YouTube.
I was so tired the next day that I was tired again the next day.
2-day hangover.
Yeah.
I had
agree.
a tired over. I wasn't hungover. I was just exhausted.
I agree.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
And I don't have a tire anymore. So that's
What?
fine. Oh, I blew my spare.
How do you keep
So
popping tires?
I don't have a normal or a spare. So my car is just sitting in my driveway right now. I had to drive from 7-Eleven, like the light over by like going towards 82.
Uh-huh.
I had to drive from there all the way home. Slow. And it was destroyed. So now it's sitting in my driveway. So I'm homebound until hopefully my tire comes in tomorrow.
Oh man.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yep.
All right, you ready?
I am ready. Let's roll.
1, 2, 3. Welcome to Disaster Party Podcast. As always, this is Rob Sedano, joined by my co-host.
Oh, daddy. It's your boy Andy Bivians. That's Bivins for I am the one true daddy of Bivians INT in professional wrestling and your American icon. This past Saturday, there were a lot of cheers and a lot of boos. But tonight, Monday night, we're on episode 62. Whoa, daddy.
Oh, daddy. I like the one that Brent did before, but you didn't take that one.
I was
Copyright
going to,
infringement.
and then I forgot it. I think you should do it. You should say it.
Said watching the Royal Rumble made us blue. Tonight we're on episode 62.
All right.
Little foreshadowing for you.
As you can see, B-Rent is back with us today, and we are talking all things Royal Rumble. And from the tone so far from B-Rent, it doesn't seem like he liked the show. So we are gonna go into that.
I mean, the show overall, I didn't think it was terrible, but I was not happy with either Rumble winner. But we'll get into that more later.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of stuff that's come out since the Royal Rumble of maybe changes to winners that were supposed to happen. And, it seems like one person in the women's match came back for a short period and then maybe is leaving again. Very anticlimactic removal from the Rumble match. But yeah, overall, what'd you guys think of the pay-per-view?
I think Andy froze.
Oh, yeah. It looks like he froze. Oh,
there he goes.
There he goes.
Well, I'll answer the question. I'll say fair to Midland.
Yeah, I would not say that this was one of the better Rumbles of the last 10 years. Not at all.
I would agree.
Pretty disappointing, if you ask me. And Andy just texted, got kicked somehow. It's reconnecting. I don't know what happened, Andy, but we're going to move on without you until you come back. I'll be honest, me going into this Rumble, I wasn't overly excited about it. I knew I wanted to watch it, but I didn't there was nothing I was like, oh yeah, so-and-so is going to win. This is going to be exciting or anything like that. It was like, okay, it's the Rumble. I like the Rumble. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Rumble's always fun to watch, regardless, even if the product's not great at that time, you always get hyped for it just because it's a fun thing to watch. And I was excited for Lashley and Lesnar. That was a much hyped match that a lot of people have wanted to see for a very long time. And I thought most of the non-Rumble matches were pretty good, but when you watch the Rumble, you want the Rumble to be good, and they were kind of disappointing. So
I'd say the women's was definitely better than the men's.
Yeah, absolutely it was.
Yeah. All right. So let's jump into the match as well. Andy reconnects. So we opened the pay-per-view with the pre-show, and there was no matches on the pre-show. Nothing. Sean mentioned to me, though, that there was supposed to be an IC title match with Sami Zayn and Shinsuke, but I never saw anything officially named for that.
Yeah, we were talking about that, and I don't think it was ever announced for the Rumble. I know Sami does have a title match. He won some gauntlet matches on to get it, and he's been kept talking about it on SmackDown, oh, I'm going to take that title back, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think they ever announced it for the Rumble. It's just something they're kind of holding in their back pocket right now.
Andy, before we jump in, what was your overall thoughts and expectations?
I thought it was a pretty good pay-per-view. I thought it had a lot of decent, solid matches. With everything that they announced with other people coming in, I did think that there was going to be a bigger Rumble, so to speak. But other than that, I thought it was pretty good.
Okay. All right. So the first match was Seth freaking Rollins versus Roman Reigns, who was the champion. Roman came out, to his regular theme, and then all of a sudden you hear "Dan it," and it's the Shield music, and Seth Rollins is actually coming through the crowd like he did with Roman and mocks as the Shield. I thought the entrance was really cool.
And he had his Shield gear on too, the tactical gear.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I mean, it was cool to bring it back and kind of reminisce.
Cool for nostalgia reasons, and also it's like Seth playing mind games with Roman because on the Friday before on SmackDown, he kind of brought it up, and Roman it was kind of weird. I was talking to Sean about it. I almost felt like I changed my mind by the time the Rumble match was over, but at the time I was like, are they trying to kind of maybe turn Roman babyface sort of they were really pushing all this thing Seth was a scumbag for bringing up the Shield, and Roman was like, I hate you for doing that and blah blah blah, and it was kind of weird. But then by the end of the match, we'll get there. But yeah, I don't think that's where they were going.
I like that they're doing a lot of nostalgia stuff too lately. It seems like with a lot of different people too.
Agreed. So I will say this match I paid attention to. I thought this match was good overall. It was a lot of back and forth. I definitely did not like the ending.
See,
Yeah.
I did.
You did?
I did.
I'm on the fence with it because, like, I could definitely see why someone didn't like it because it was kind of a cop out finish, and also, but I'm also like kind of confused with it too. I got it. This is like a wait and see for me because, again, we're kind of jumping ahead here, but like we know where Roman's headed for WrestleMania, but the way this match ended makes it seem like this is not resolved between him and Seth. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they do something else again. We still got one more pay-per-view in between. Don't forget we got Elimination Chamber. So
Which is in Saudi.
yeah,
They announced it. It's going to be at 12 o'clock on a Saturday.
which I don't mind.
Oh.
Well, actually, Saturday I'll probably be out doing stuff, but whatever. I'll start it when I get home.
Yeah. But even like, again, we're going to go into it later, but how about this match was good overall. These guys could definitely work. They have a lot of history. They could definitely go back and forth. I'd say this is probably the best singles match on the show. But at the end,
I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, okay, that's in my opinion. The Roman puts Seth in a guillotine, and if Seth gets his hand on the rope, the referee counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Roman Reigns gets disqualified, which is his first pay-per-view loss, technically, in about 2 or 3 years. So, yeah, I didn't like it because like the match was good and then it kind of ended abruptly. But then afterwards, I guess, was cool. Roman got a chair and he was kind of doing the same thing that Seth Rollins did to him when he turned on him with the Shield breakup. And it was cool though in the match, like Seth Rollins kept like kind of taunting him and saying, do the fist. And obviously Roman didn't, but
well, not only they actually did the same exact thing where Roman hit him in the back, and Seth did the exact thing where he like fell on the bottom rope like Roman did when he hit him, and then he started wearing him out with the chair. It was like the same exact thing except with the roles reversed.
Yeah.
It was very I've said it before, and even Sean said he can't unsee it now, that Rollins has a lot of Joker-esque qualities about him now. So the reason I like this finish is because it gave you almost a Batman Joker finish. Like, Joker will never quit. Joker will never give up. Batman's gonna have to kill him. That's how I felt with this, and it leaves it open because Roman lost because of himself. He didn't get beat by Seth. So it could have him come back later on down the road because the whole story was them, like their entire career together. That was the entire story going in. Now you can just continue it because you still don't have a definite winner.
True. They're going to revisit this. But then again, if they revisit this before WrestleMania, with how clear Roman's path is to WrestleMania, it really it's just a wash of a next match.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I don't even think Roman
SummerSlam
should wrestle at the next pay-per-view, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he will because it's Saudi, so they're going to want to bring all the big guns, but I don't know.
Yeah. So that match
Probably
was 14 minutes and 25 seconds, which was the longest singles match on the show.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised they opened the pay-per-view with this match.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it makes sense when you think about what happened later.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So match number 2 was the Women's Royal Rumble match. This match went 59 minutes and 40 seconds. And here we go. The first 2 entrants were Sasha Banks and Melina. As I was discussing when we were watching the pay-per-view, I am not super familiar with Melina because that was in my hiatus of watching.
It was cool to see Melina back, and I'm pretty sure that was her first Rumble too, which made it even bigger and special.
My favorite ring
cool
entrance of all time is Melina.
Well, she was definitely crying. She had a lot of emotions, so you could definitely tell it meant a lot for her. And as quickly as she was emotional, she was eliminated by Sasha Banks. And then Sasha Banks basically taunted her by doing her entrance or the splits. And Sasha Banks was dressed up as Sailor Moon, so that was kind of cool. The entrant number
that was weird. I didn't really see the point of like having Melina be in there so quick. They could have gave her a little bit more time, but and then at first I thought they were gonna like make Sasha look really dominant and to start like eliminate people, but they didn't really do that either. So
no. So number 3 was Tamina. She was number 3, and then following Tamina was Kelly Kelly. Following Kelly Kelly was Aaliyah. I'm just gonna go in order. So we have Liv Morgan, Queen Selena, Bianca Belair, Dana Brooke, Michelle McCool, Sonya Deville, Natalya, Cameron, Naomi, Carmella, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Ivory, which was an interesting one. She came in, she was on the mic.
That.
Censor.
Love it.
Let me jump in real quick. I'll let you continue. But I was listening to a podcast earlier, and someone had a good idea that said that like they should bring in Ivory to manage somebody with this gimmick, because this gimmick, everything that's old is new again. This gimmick is actually more relevant now even than back then with all like the cancel culture stuff that's going on. Like make it right to cancel instead of right to censor.
I believe Ivory is 60 years old.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. She looks great for 60. And I said that when we were watching, like she was on Glow. I'm not talking about Netflix Glow. I'm talking about Glow from like the 80s.
The original.
Yeah. She's been around a long time.
Yeah, she looked good though. So after Ivory, so pretty much everyone from here, I mean, you had a couple of Melina, Kelly Kelly, and Michelle McCool, Sonya Deville, who doesn't actively wrestle, and Cameron. So after Ivory, we have Brie Bella.
Well, real quick on that too. I'm sorry to cut you off again, but
no worries.
There was something else I found out about that I didn't notice during the thing, because we were just kind of saying like people were kind of being loud, we couldn't really hear the commentary. But like when Sonya first came out, she actually went to the commentary desk, was doing commentary for a little while, and she's been having this feud going with Naomi for a long time. And I guess like when Cameron came out, they were kind of talking about like, oh, Cameron is friends with Naomi and this and that. And so Sonya was like, oh, so Naomi would get really, really upset if something happened to her. And then that's when she jumped in the ring and like tossed Cameron out and started beating the crap out of her.
That's fun.
So that was a little context to that we missed, I think. But it's a pretty good heel move.
I think they missed a great opportunity to have Cameron and Naomi in there, and they could have done the dance.
I agree, but I think now knowing that part of it, I kind of get why they did that, because it was supposed to be like Sonya was doing that to piss Naomi off. And they did have a little interaction. Like Naomi came out and checked on her to make sure she was okay or whatever. Then she like it was like a Rocky and Apollo Creed thing. She like was holding around her, she looked up at Drago. She died.
Well, they did the same thing with Liv too. Like they had a very, very short, brief moment.
Very short, brief moment. But another opportunity they missed with Cameron is, do you remember on Tough Enough? She said that her favorite match was Melina versus Alicia Fox.
Yes.
And she could have been in the ring with them.
That's pretty hilarious. They should have had an interaction with the three of them for sure.
Oh man, missed opportunity. So after Ivory came and went, Brie Bella was number 19, and she actually lasted 19 minutes, which was pretty cool. Number 20 was Mickie James from Impact Wrestling with her Impact Championship around her waist.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
And it was their Impact
cool.
Intro music too.
Her music, that was actually what struck me even more than the belt, was they let her use the Impact music.
Yeah.
Instead of the "Hey Mickey, you're so fine."
She only had one elimination. She only had one elimination, but she lasted.
Yeah, but the elimination
40.
was Michelle McCool, which, if you want to talk about callbacks, they had a feud back in the day, there's pretty a controversial storyline where like Michelle McCool and Layla were, calling her Piggy James and talking about how she was fat and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a callback.
Well, call back to number 21, Alicia Fox, who is now sporting double full sleeves, tattoo sleeves. Number 22 is Nikki Ash. Number 23, Summer Rae, who does not look the same at all. Lots of plastic surgery.
And who asked for her pay in crypto.
Did she? Well, okay, I like her.
Remember,
I'll give her a
we
little
talked
props.
about this, remember?
I'll give her a little props for that. She lasted 52 seconds, didn't eliminate anybody. She was eliminated by Natalya, and the first person she went after was Natalya. They tried to play up that Total Divas storyline that didn't really work.
I think they were chirping at each other on Twitter also, likely enough, when they announced that Summer Rae was coming for this.
Next was 24, Nikki Bella, who lasted 8 minutes and 40 seconds, and she actually eliminated 2 people, one being Alicia Fox and the other being the next person to come in, which was Sarah Logan, who lasted 43 seconds, and she was eliminated, including with her buddy Liv Morgan, were eliminated by the Bellas. Number 26 was Lita, who lasted 10 minutes and 21 seconds. Number 27 was Molly Holly, and Molly Holly was eliminated by Nikki Ash, and she lasted a whole 20 seconds.
Molly.
She wasn't just eliminated by her. Nikki kind of sneak attacked her. She was like hiding, crouching down, and before Molly could even get in the ring, she blasted her and beat the crap out of her. So that's something that could continue, because obviously that's like an obvious thing, superhero versus supervillain. So,
and Holly is an agent, I think.
Yeah, she's working there full time, so she could easily be there to do a program or whatever.
Yeah. Number 28, the returning Ronda Rousey. Exactly. Number 29 was Shotzi Blackheart, even though she is now just Shotzi. And number 30 is Shayna Baszler. So Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey have some friendship, so they definitely played up that. It ended up being Charlotte. I believe it was Charlotte, Shayna, Shotzi, and Ronda were the last 4.
That sounds about right.
I think so. It was definitely Charlotte and Ronda.
So it ended up being Ronda and Charlotte as the final 2, and Ronda was able to throw Charlotte over the rope and win the Royal Rumble. Now, before we discuss that, because I'm not a big fan of it, it made sense as soon as she came out. It was pretty obvious, but I just want to give props to, there was a lot of female or women in the match that are older, who are just came back from like injury, haven't wrestled in a while, or just had a baby. So you got to think, Ronda Rousey just had a baby. Nikki and Brie just had babies. Sarah Logan just had a baby. Melina hasn't wrestled in 10 years. Cameron hasn't wrestled in like 10 years.
Well, that's actually not true. Melina's been doing stuff in NWA and Impact. So she's been a little bit more active. She did take a big break from wrestling, but she's been active lately. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Michelle McCool. I mean, she comes every year. Alicia Fox hasn't wrestled in a while. Yeah, Lita. I mean, she's comes and goes, but
yeah, apparently Lita wants to make a run though, so we might be seeing more of her.
All right, but now that I gave those women props, what did you think about Ronda Rousey winning?
Not a fan. No. Well, here, let me elaborate. I'll start off by saying this. I'm obviously a pro wrestling fan. I've been watching since 1993, since I was like 9 years old. I'm also a MMA fan. Been watching that since like 2009. Not as much lately. So, and listen, I understand Ronda Rousey. She's a big star, and I understand that if this was legitimate fighting, she could beat all these women in shoot fights. But I still, just because that's true, I don't like how like WWF has this thing, or Vince or whoever now has this thing now where if someone's an MMA fighter, they just automatically come in and they kill everybody. Everyone's scared of them. Oh my God, it's Ronda Rousey. We're so scared. We're petrified. Like, these people are supposed to be fighters also. And like, and also Ronda's fake fighting is not good. Like you saw the punches she was throwing, like Shane McMahon throws better punches. They look terrible. And I understand it's a whole different ballgame when you're not actually trying to punch somebody for real and knock them out, but like it's just I was never much of a fan. I know some people were giving her props, and I thought when she first debuted at WrestleMania she did a great job for someone who had their first match on a big stage like that. But the more and more I watched her matches, the more I was just like, these are like, they're just so formulaic. All she does is like them judo tosses, and I'm not entertained by her in-ring work. I don't care for her as a person, to be honest.
Yeah.
and the main thing, and we'll get into this with the men's rumble too, she didn't need that accolade. She's a big enough star. Whatever she was going to do at WrestleMania is going to be a draw anyway. They didn't need to give her a Royal Rumble win. Like,
True.
But that's just my thoughts on the situation.
Andy?
I don't know, because the last time they all had a main event, the story going into it was amazing. Like it was a great story. It was a great fight. It was a great feud. It was the first time that the women went on as the main event. I don't know. I kind of want to see where this goes, to be honest. I wasn't. I was shocked when she came back because it was automatically in the Rumble, but at the same time, like it looks like they were setting up her and Charlotte. So her versus Charlotte singly, that could be money.
I could see it going either Becky or Charlotte, honestly, because she has beef with both, and I could see them actually leading into another triple threat at WrestleMania.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
I could see that.
A lot of people were automatically going Ronda Charlotte, and I guess that's what the dirt sheets are reporting too. To me, that doesn't really make much sense. Like the last time we saw Ronda, she got her. She took her first pinfall loss from Becky, but there was some kind of, I don't remember exactly because it was WrestleMania 2 years ago now, or 3 years ago even maybe.
Yeah,
it was
2019.
2019. So there was some kind of controversy about her shoulder maybe not being on the mat or something, and that was the last we saw of Ronda. So like that feud's already like built in. So like her going to Charlotte doesn't really make sense to me. I feel like if she should face Becky, and Charlotte, honestly, I think she should face Lita at WrestleMania.
That'd be cool.
They already started that beef
dope
on SmackDown, and like I said, Lita, I think she wants to do more. So like that's where I would go. But I don't have the pencil.
I'd be happy to see that.
Me too. All right. Speaking of Becky Lynch, match number 3, singles match: Becky Lynch versus Piper Niven, aka Dewdrop. This match went 13 minutes, and Becky Lynch retained. So, a couple things. I don't think this match was bad, but I think it had the unfortunate position of right after a women's Royal Rumble, an hour-long women's Royal Rumble. And apparently during Ronda Rousey pointing at the WrestleMania sign and during this match, the WrestleMania sign was on fire.
For real?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And they had to take it down partially to put it out. So a lot of the fans were actually distracted if you go back and rewatch.
Wow.
Yeah. So this match did not have much fan heat because the fans were distracted by a fire in the building.
Well, I think
That's a shame. That was a great match too.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was surprised when Rob started off with. I didn't think this match was bad. Because remember when I said I disagreed, I thought this was the best singles match of the night. I thought they tore it up, and I agree. Though the crowd didn't seem as into it, but I think part of that is because no one thought Dewdrop was going to win. Like
That's
this
also
was just
true,
this was just like a stopgap for Becky. But with that said, I thought they tore it up, and like I'm a big fan of. I'm going to call her Piper. I'm a big fan of her. Like I think they got some with her. I was just thinking about this earlier today. She to me is like a female like Vader or Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah,
because
I
like
can see
she's
that.
big, but she's also like agile and moves really well in the ring. And they don't have any girls like her anymore. Like now that Naya's gone, she's the only like hoss.
She's
And
way better
she's
than
way
Nia.
better than Naya. She's a way better worker than Naya, and so like she has that size and the working ability. And I think her promos are coming along too. Like I don't know about her as like a heel. I feel like she's more suited to be a baby face. But and she needs
And that was another thing too. Is like you had Becky Lynch, who was the heel, versus the babyface Dewdrop in a way. But then it's like, wouldn't you want to have the babyface like David versus Goliath?
Technically, it was a heel versus heel matchup. I think, like, because like
True.
Dewdrop's been a heel. She was feuding with Bianca before this, and like the whole build to this feud was weird anyway because like they had a triple threat match to determine the number one contender, and Becky like helped Dewdrop win. Like she wanted to face her, but like, why would you want to face the biggest, and strongest competitor?
Because she's big time Bex, bro.
Yes.
She can beat her.
She wanted to help out a fellow Celt. That's what it was.
Probably, yeah.
See, I think actually the opposite. I don't think it was. I think the fans were behind Dewdrop more and wanted to see Dewdrop win. And I think there were a lot of times where the fans thought that Dewdrop was actually going to defeat Becky, which would have been very interesting, seeing as how they still have the Saudi pay-per-view coming up before Mania. So it would have been cool to see that happen and see the transition on where that would go. But it sucks that the sign was on fire and half the fans didn't see it.
Yeah. I read about that today and I was like, wow.
That's crazy.
But this match went 13 minutes and Becky retained. I kind of see this feud being over.
Yeah, probably.
Say being over?
Yeah, being over, yeah.
I believe it.
All right, so now we have Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar, the champion Brock Lesnar, in a singles match. This is their first singles match ever in WWE or any company. I know Bobby Lashley has been begging for this match for about 10, 15 years. They played that up in the lead up. And this match was basically like Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. It was just two hosses just beating each other up. It went 10 minutes and 15 seconds. At one point, I think it was Brock Lesnar tried to go for an F5.
That's an eternity for Brock.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess as he was going for the F5, Bobby Lashley's feet knocked over the referee.
Yeah, and poor ref was getting battered around like a ping pong ball.
Mm-hmm. And at that point, since the referee was knocked out, suddenly, gasp, a stranger appeared, Roman Reigns. He spears Brock, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the corner.
No, or Superman punch. No, maybe it was a spear. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
No,
I just know he hit him.
The spear, and then he just kind of stands over him.
And then he goes in the corner. He looks at Paul Heyman and just gestures. He doesn't say a word. He just gestures for Brock's belt. Lesnar hands him the belt. Reigns runs up, smashes Brock in the face with the belt, and Bobby Lashley pins him 1, 2, 3. And now Paul Heyman follows Roman Reigns out to show that Paul Heyman is now turned on Brock Lesnar.
Well,
one thing I want to know about
him, or was he never really with him in the first place?
True. True.
This is all part of the plan.
Rob said it was Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. So does that mean that Paul and Roman were Madison and a crew?
Yeah, fucking people up. Just like fucking things up for no reason. Just getting in the way. Did they need to be there? No, but they had to get involved, right? Ugh.
Of course.
Yeah. Anyways, they've clarified kind of the direction that Lashley's going into now with Elimination Chamber, but I can't really see where he would end up for WrestleMania, which is kind of putting me into this situation of thinking that he's not going to make it to Mania with the belt.
I'm gonna save my thoughts on that until after we talk about the men's rumble.
Got it.
But as far as this match goes, I enjoyed it. I love a good hoss fight. I've wanted to see these two battle for a long time because they're kind of like, obviously two big, huge dudes, similar backgrounds with the amateur wrestling, the MMA fighting. This goes all the way back to when Lashley first debuted and Brock had been gone for a couple of years, and people were calling him Black Lesnar. And they've always kind of been compared to each other. So the match was pretty good for what it was. Like I said, 10 minutes hoss fight there. We saw Brock get taken to Suplex City.
Mm-hmm.
Like Brock or Browby dropped him on his head with a German suplex, gave him a taste of his own medicine.
Yeah, they were fucking each other up with those suplexes. There was a couple times where like, oh no.
It was getting to the point where I was like, I feel like Bobby doesn't want to be suplexed anymore. He's like not landing right. He's like, they're really taking it to each other. And
Lesnar's still leash, just tossing him.
Yeah, and they made Lashley look good too. A lot of times people go in against Brock just get destroyed, but this is twice now where he had Brock locked in the hurt lock, and it didn't look like Brock was going to get out. So both guys came out looking strong.
Yeah.
Although you could argue that like Bobby, the win looks kind of cheap because Roman came in, but hey, you gotta take the win when you can get it.
Mm-hmm.
This is a business. It ain't UNICEF.
All right, so match number 5, we have Edge and Beth Phoenix versus The Miz and Maurice. This is an intergender match, mixed tag team. This was like a little spot festy and nothing too crazy. This mixed tag rules didn't apply to Beth, because she was fighting Maurice and she was fighting The Miz and taking it to The Miz for a while. At the end, Edge and Beth got both of them into the Glamazon, right?
The Glam Slam.
The Glam Slam. Did the move in unison, and Edge pinned The Miz to win in 12 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add. I mean, I thought the match was fine for what it was. This is what they call the "let me up" match.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun, and Maurice impressed me. She hit a Hurricane Rana off the top rope on Edge, and I was like, whoa! I was like, I didn't think Maurice had that in her. And I like the double Glam Slam at the end. 2 tickets to the gun show that Beth was giving everybody.
Mm-hmm.
See those guns?
At the end, they hugged their kids.
What was that?
What was that?
I was just saying, at the end, they ended up like going out of the ring and hugging their kids because their kids were front row watching.
Oh, I didn't even see that. You talking about Edge?
Oh wow,
and Beth?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, Edge and Beth. Yep.
Yeah, but this is 2 losses in a row for Miz. Miz is 0-2 with Edge, so I think it's time for him to move on to something else. Both of them.
Agreed. Andy, your opinion on the match?
I thought it was a good match. Like I was saying to you guys while we were watching it, it would have been cool to see a Brood entrance with both of those two, because it would have I don't know why, just seeing them both together kind of reminds me of like Gangrel and Luna Vachon. So like that would have been awesome. But
we talked about it when we were watching it, that she had like Beth had face paint that was kind of similar to Luna, the one the unit Luna used to wear.
By the eye, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it. I liked the match.
All right.
Where do you guys see Edge going towards WrestleMania? I don't really see anything like a path for him right now. I mean, we're still a ways away from WrestleMania, but
I honestly have no idea.
he could be in the Elimination Chamber match, I would assume.
True, but they've already announced 2 people for that match.
Oh, have they? I just saw that they announced it. This is actually what I was going to bring up earlier. I saw that they announced it, and that Lashley's going to be defending the title in the match, which I thought was kind of weird because I thought they would use it to determine his challenger.
I think they're up to 4 now.
Well, I know that there's 2, and the 2 are just going to make everyone else irrelevant. Do you want me to say it?
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead. Spit them out.
Brock Lesnar.
Brock's in the chamber?
In the chamber.
So, wait. Oh my God. I'll save my comments till after the Rumble talk.
Yeah.
Move on.
Move on. All right. So we are at the men's Rumble, 30-man Rumble. It goes 51-10. And here are the participants in order. Number 1, we had AJ Styles, who lasted 29 minutes and 6 seconds. He had the longest time in the match, and he eliminated 6, which was the most in the match. Number 2 was Shinsuke Nakamura. So number 1 and 2 was AJ and Shinsuke, which is a far drop from their Wrestle Kingdom match. But, then we had Austin Theory, Robert Roode, Rich Holland, Montez Ford, Damian Priest. We had Sami Zayn, Johnny Knoxville, who actually lasted 1 minute and 26 seconds. We had Angelo Dawkins, Omos, who lasted 4 minutes and 24 seconds and eliminated 3. Ricochet actually eliminated somebody. Well, they considered him part of the elimination of Omos. Chad Gable, Dominic Mysterio, who never made it, didn't stay in the ring long enough to make it in the ring with his father, even though they were teasing that on SmackDown for about 3 weeks. We have Happy Corbin, Dolph Ziggler, who lasted 26 minutes and 46 seconds. So I think he was the second longest next to Austin Theory and AJ Styles. This was Dolph Ziggler's 15th Royal Rumble, which makes him second to only Kane in Rumble appearances. We have 17 was Sheamus. 18 was Rick Boogs, who looks like a jacked Freddie Mercury. 19, we had Madcap Moss. 20, who was supposed to be the winner, apparently, was Matt Riddle. 21, Drew McIntyre. 22, Kevin Owens. 23, Rey Mysterio. Sorry, Rey, your son has been eliminated. 24, Kofi Kingston, who lasted only 21 seconds. It looked like he was going to do one of his Kofi things for the Rumble. He got tossed out, and it looked like he was supposed to catch the railing and maybe prevent his feet from hitting and then go do his thing. His feet hit. It was clear that they hit. They did a slow-mo replay, and it was clear that they hit, and Kofi was in the Royal Rumble for 21 seconds. The shortest time frame in the entire men's Royal Rumble. After Kofi, there was definitely a lull, and that's when Otis came out. Then we had Big E, Bad Bunny, who actually eliminated 2 and lasted 7 minutes and 41 seconds. We had Shane O'Mac lasting 5 minutes and 38 seconds. Number 29 was Randy Orton. And number 30 was Brock Lesnar. I'll say pretty much from 1 to 8, the match was pretty boring. Johnny Knoxville came in, added entertainment for 1 minute and 26 seconds. Then the match became...
He also took a really stiff clothesline from AJ.
He did. And then he took the the fall from heaven. Is that what it is? Montez Ford?
Oh, yeah, the frog splash.
Yeah, he took that. Then the match was pretty boring, except for they were trying to get Omos out until probably Kofi came out, and then that fell apart. And then the match got a little bit more exciting with Bad Bunny and Shane O'Mac. And then after Brock Lesnar came out, it was pretty obvious who was going to win. Brock Lesnar ends up eliminating everybody, and it was him and Drew McIntyre. And Drew McIntyre gets eliminated by Brock Lesnar, where Brock Lesnar was the 4th participant in the Royal Rumble to win the Royal Rumble from the 30th spot.
Who were the other 3? Undertaker, Triple H,
Stone Cold.
No, I don't think Austin ever did. It's probably pretty recent, because I know for a long time Undertaker was the only one that did it, even though they always say like 30 is the best number, but like no one ever wins from it.
Yeah. So I believe you said this, Brent, during the Royal Rumble. You said, why would Brock come out as 30? Wouldn't they have picked the numbers before the pay-per-view started, and maybe just do a little storyline of showing Brock, hurting somebody to get their number. Like that one year that Becky Lynch won, didn't Carmella come out and she like beat her up and then she took her spot?
Yeah, so I have a lot of issues with Brock winning. That's one of them. Is that like they did this a couple years ago with Roman, where Roman was in the title match, lost, and then he came out number 30. It's like, if you're in the title match, you shouldn't be in a Royal Rumble. And because especially if you're like the champion going in, then you lose your title, because like you said, all the numbers should have been drawn by now, so you would have known if you're in the Rumble or not.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like to your point, if you're gonna do it, you can make a storyline where, remember a couple years ago, R-Truth came out at 30, and like Nia Jax came out, slammed him into the guardrail, and she went into the Royal Rumble. Yep. Do something like that. Like, although I guess Corey Graves did tweet out that Brock stole his number.
Oh, did he? That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just dumb. It's like once Brock came out, it was so anticlimactic because you knew he was going to win right from there. Because like they're not going to have him lose twice in one night.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to just go on a rampage, throw everybody out, and it's the same thing. It's the same issue I had with Ronda. Like Brock does not need that accolade. The match is already set up after what we saw earlier. Roman cost him the match. I mean, the only argument you can make is that Brock had to win the Rumble to like ensure the match, so that Roman couldn't be like, oh, I'm not facing you. Like, but still, that's still like that's like a cheap explanation for me, because like it's like we said, now Lashley has no opponent, because like we already knew this match was that Brock and Roman was going to happen even before this. So like you're just reinforcing it with the Royal Rumble win. It's like not necessary. It would have made more sense to establish Lashley's opponent as the Rumble winner. To your point, maybe Lashley's not even the champion going into WrestleMania. Now he's defending it in the Elimination Chamber. I thought that was weird when I read that today, because the thing I thought after I thought that, I was like, well, maybe they're going to use the Elimination Chamber to establish Lashley's opponent, but now who knows? He might not even have the belt by the end of that. So, and then on top of the not liking the winner, the match, like you said, it just wasn't that exciting. There was barely any surprises.
They
some
weren't
people
any real.
So, well, that's the thing. Some people were like counted like Drew McIntyre as a surprise entrance. I didn't count Drew McIntyre as a surprise entrance. No. I understand that like we thought he was injured, so I was a little bit surprised in that case. He wasn't announced, but he's an active roster member. And I say surprise, I'm talking about legends. We didn't see any old timers. We didn't see any. I mean, you could say Bad Bunny was a surprise, but like, whatever.
Bad
and
Bunny killed it.
That's the thing. I'm not even trying to diss Bad Bunny. I give him props because he is probably the best celebrity wrestler I've seen, maybe ever. Or maybe Stephen Amell.
Or Pat McAfee.
Yeah, McAfee did it really good too. But it's just like, but Bad Bunny ain't gonna win the Royal Rumble. Like,
yeah.
And then Shane, same thing.
Why not?
Because he's Bad Bunny, dude. No, but yeah, we didn't see any old timers. It's kind of funny. I was thinking like people were kind of making jokes. They're like, oh, does WWE have enough people to fill up the Royal Rumble? They fired everybody, but that just shows you how many guys they did have under contract. They had too many wrestlers under contract. Not to say I never want to see someone get fired, but like they had too many wrestlers under contract because they fired 100 people and they still were able to fill up with no surprises, just all active roster members.
And there were some active roster members that were not.
Yeah, people were talking about Finn Balor. They were like, "Where's Finn? Finn's on a milk carton."
Finn, Jinder Mahal.
Yep. Veer, where is Veer?
Yeah, Veer.
No NXT guys. Usually we see
Apollo.
NXT guys.
No Apollo Crews.
Yep.
No 24/7 people. Cedric Alexander, Commander Aziz,
Shelton, Tozawa, R-Truth.
Finn Balor. They could have had Gable Stevenson come out. That would have been a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they didn't want him to lose. Yeah, Reggie could have came out.
Yeah, actually, Reggie would have been cool because he probably could have did some crazy shit to avoid elimination.
T-Bar and Mace.
I will say with Kofi, I felt bad that happened to him, but it was bound to happen one of these years. You walk that fine line. Plus, I'm pretty sure he did one similar to that already, where he like caught himself on the guardrail. Mm-hmm. There's only so many things you can do before you start running out of ideas. Maybe it's time for Kofi to retire that.
But even the women's match, you got Alexa Bliss wasn't in it. Was Carmella in it? I don't remember saying her name.
Carmella was, but we didn't see.
Carmella was in it.
there were 3 big names being thrown around that we thought we might see returns. Asuka, we didn't see her. Bailey, we didn't see her. There was even rumblings that Paige is cleared, and
Lacey Evans.
Yeah, we didn't see Lacey Evans either. People were saying that the Lacey talk was kind of premature. She's probably not ready to come back yet because I guess I don't know how long ago she had the baby,
but then even like Angel Garza, Cesaro,
Viking Raid. Oh yes, I forgot Cesaro wasn't in there.
Drew Gulak, Humberto, Ivar, Xavier Woods.
He's injured.
Oh, is he? Mansoor. Ali didn't want to be in it.
Yeah, Ali doesn't want to be with the company anymore.
Shanky. But yeah, man, there was just a lot of people that they could have used and they didn't. I mean, Xia Li wasn't even in it. Female. Yeah.
I think a lot of it might be due also to like COVID and like restrictions and getting people there too.
What about
like,
Elias?
For not having like
well, we haven't seen Elias
like
in months. Yeah, but no, I don't know as far as COVID stuff that could be true. Like maybe some people had to be quarantined, they were exposed or something. Who knows?
But then think about this: there was not one NXT wrestler in either of the Rumbles.
Yeah, I thought people thought for sure Ciampa was going to be in it.
I heard Walter or Gunther and Braun Breaker were there.
I'm kind of glad they didn't put Breaker in it. I feel like it's too early for him to be in there, and he just won the NXT title, and he's like the top guy now. So I don't think. I mean, I don't know. They did it with Andrade a couple years ago when he was champ. He went to the Royal Rumble, but
yeah,
I don't know. I'd rather see like somebody that's like maybe more ready to come up to the main roster, like Pete Dunne or somebody like that.
No Pete Dunne. Yeah, it was just like you said. It was just It
was kind of just boring because I hate to say that because like you shouldn't have to rely on stuff, but that's kind of is part of the fun of the Rumble is seeing guys that you don't see it every week on Raw and SmackDown. So when it's all just Raw and SmackDown guys, it's kind of like, especially because like the pool of guys that you thought could actually win was pretty low this year. Like you brought up earlier, there's rumors flying around that maybe Riddle was supposed to be the guy originally. But, I like Riddle, but I don't know if that would have made a lot of sense because I feel like the WrestleMania match for him is Randy. I mean, sure. They're going to break up at some point. But they didn't even start
I don't even think I
was going to say, they didn't even start teasing that, though. They could have had Riddle, like, eliminate Randy or something in the match. This was in Randy's hometown. I don't know if people realize he's from St. Louis, so. But I feel like that's where they're going to go, but who knows? Because they haven't even really started building to it yet. So, go ahead. You were going to.
I think with the guys that they had in the Rumble, like it would have been cool to see one of them win it, because then it would have taken them in a different direction where they currently are, and nobody would expect it, and it would be cool to see like the story that plays out from there. Yeah.
Well, another thing I wanted to bring up, a lot of us, remember we were at Rob's house, we were writing, a lot of us wrote down who we thought was going to win and who we wanted to win. And the name that came up over and over and over was Big E. Well, I got to tell you, it looks like Big E's main event run is a wrap, at least for now.
Yep.
Because, first of all, I didn't even realize this. Sean said it the other day, and I didn't really like fully grasp it, but like apparently they've moved him to SmackDown permanently. I thought he was just showing up on SmackDown because like at Rumble time they kind of loosen up the stuff, like Kevin Owens was on SmackDown and stuff. But now apparently they moved him back permanently, which tells me he's going back into the tag team with Kofi.
And Woods is hurt, if that's the case.
We're not going to see him in the main event anytime soon, so that's kind of disappointing because I feel like they didn't really give him like enough of a chance with the belt, but.
And he was only in the Rumble for 6 minutes.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think he was a favorite to win by a lot of people because, like, again, especially after what we saw, transpire in Lashley and an opponent, like that's a good matchup. I think Lashley and Big E. I know they already had a couple matches because that's who he took the belt from, but they didn't really have like a real program and like a big high profile like pay-per-view match.
Yeah.
I think that could have been good, but that's not what they're going for. So who knows?
But even like what we were just saying, if you added Finn Balor, Cesaro, you know, Jinder Mahal, like there's a couple, like even in a returning Elias, they could package him instead of Otis and the Street Profits. And you know what I'm saying? Like they could take those guys out and put some single stars. When you put tag team members who are clearly not going to go anywhere as a tag team in the Royal Rumble, like Riddle and Randy Orton would be believable if they won it, right? But Otis is not going to win it. Gable's not going to win it. So why not put at least some single stars that would be believable?
No, I agree 100%. I don't really like when they put tag team guys in there because, like you said, they're not going to win. And do a tag team title match on the undercard. We didn't see either tag team titles defended on this pay-per-view.
And the Usos weren't on the show at all.
Nope, they weren't on there at all. They were banned from ringside because of the stipulation or whatever. But
just not a great Royal Rumble.
Yeah, definitely a anticlimactic ending.
I think it would be cool to see Gable win. Or Otis. Just think of like where they can run with that.
I mean, it would be interesting, but they haven't built them to make it work. I mean, we saw what happened to Otis when he won the Money in the Bank.
True.
I think
it was entertaining for a couple of weeks.
I think those guys are entertaining. They're both good wrestlers, especially Gable's really good in the ring. And they're entertaining and stuff, but I don't know. They're just, it's like Rob said, they're not like built up to feel like a main event level back. Yeah, I mean, they're a tag team right now. They're the tag team champions. So like having one of them win the Royal Rumble would just feel weird right now. Like maybe sometime down the road, but
I feel like with the way Otis is going, like he's more serious, more like, straightforward. I think him winning the Rumble actually would help him because then it puts him in a higher position to now chase after bigger goals / like up his almost like up his
stock.
I don't want to say athleticism, but like like it would make him chase it more, so to speak. I can't think of the wording that I want to use, but it would make him like that mid event player, which would then increase him being that more serious, personality. And then you still have Chad Gable behind him, kind of being that comedic yet motivating partner, training him to get ready for it. Everybody thinks like they're taking it seriously, and then after the Saudi show, then it's just like bang, flip the switch. Oh, this is a different Otis we're seeing. Otis is now like destroying people. You're sending like one person after another, and everybody's getting squashed, and Otis is just running through them. Now he's becoming a bigger threat. Now the tag team's a little more legitimate because you have that. Or it could be, vice versa the other way, Gable wins and Gable kind of skirts around everything and uses Otis as his big, giant, heavy muscle to kind of muscle through people. So it's like, is that how he's going to use to be able to get the title? I think it could have gone either way. But I don't know. It would
honestly
be cool to see somebody else win.
Honestly, Otis is a guy, if you build him up right, I think he could be a believable opponent for like a Lashley. Like, because he's a big dude. They keep saying he's a wrecking ball. Like he's like shaped like a wrecking ball. You know what I mean? And then he's got that amateur wrestling background too. But the timing just isn't right for someone like him. I don't think though.
Yeah.
Rob brought up Cesaro. Cesaro wasn't even in it. I would freaking love to see a Cesaro and Bobby Lashley match.
But I'm just still so like stuck. They had guys like the last like 4 or 5 Royal Rumbles. There's been NXT guys. If they got rid of all the tag teams, put in Finn Balor, Cesaro, Jinder, right? Because Jinder's the next champion. Then you could have taken Tommaso Ciampa, Pete Dunne, and maybe even just Walter. It's changed it up a little bit. Each one of them would be believable because it's all like established stars. The Johnny Knoxville was pretty much irrelevant. Bad Bunny was cool. Like Shane McMahon, the only thing he did was eliminate Kevin Owens. So it was like there was they could have done those things and it would have made it even a little bit more entertaining.
Well, I think here's the other issue with the Rumble. We're focusing right now on who won and who should have won this up. But they didn't even. The other thing you can use the Royal Rumble for is starting other stories, not just the Royal Rumble winner versus the champion, but you can start other stories that can lead to WrestleMania. They didn't do any of that. Like they did that with some of the women. Like there was way more stories and callbacks and stuff in the women's. Like we saw, like you brought up with the Bellas, where they like eliminated Alicia Fox, who was their partner back in the day. And then we saw. I don't know if you guys caught this, but Brie eliminated Nikki, which that was a role reversal from the first women's Royal Rumble where Nikki eliminated Brie, so she got her payback. So there was like a lot of callbacks and stuff. And like I said, we talked about before the Nikki Ash and Molly Holly thing. Like neither of them won, obviously, but that could continue on to something.
Natalia Summer Rae. You had the connection between Baszler and Rousey. You know, the storyline between Rousey and Charlotte. Like there was just a lot of. You know,
I'm glad you brought up Rousey,
Naomi and Sonya with Cameron.
I'm glad you brought up Rousey and Baszler because that's kind of an example of what I was saying before. Like Rousey doesn't need to be in the title match, and same with Brock. Like these people, they're draws on their own. You don't need to like throw the belt in to enhance it. You could do like a Ronda versus Baszler match at WrestleMania. Like all that history they have together, it doesn't even need the title. It would just be a big match for the card, and then you could have Becky and like Bianca go for the belt because that story didn't really finish yet either. But I feel like they're going to put Bianca on the back burner now, which I don't really like.
Yeah.
With the men's, I think they were setting. I read something where like McIntyre kind of alluded like how when he won the championship, like there were no fans, and this time, you know, he was going to be there and he was going to have fans, but Brock Lesnar took that moment away from him. I think they're trying to set something up there as well. And the guys, I feel like they did set up stuff, but it was less subtle, or it was more subtle, I should say. Like,
well, like what?
Yeah.
Like, what's a feud you think that could go forward coming out of the Rumble match?
Everything was self-contained. Like Sami Zayn and Knoxville had a thing, right? Austin Theory and AJ Styles had a thing that was already squashed at that point.
Real quick,
champion got jobbed out by Omos. That could lead into something. Omos versus Damian Priest for the title.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an interest in seeing Omos do anything, but I was gonna. Another idea I heard on a podcast recently, I thought actually is pretty. It would be pretty interesting. Is someone said they should do Austin Theory versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, where the storyline is like Shane is like, oh, my father loves you more than he loves me.
That's funny.
No, it's kind of funny, but actually, yeah, I think it could actually work, and especially if Shane was to lose, because that at least you're putting somebody over. So.
Yeah,
did McIntyre beat up Corbin and
but he was just getting payback from the torture that they've been doing to him.
Yeah, well, they were the ones that injured his neck. I mean, like he has a legit neck injury, but that was how they wrote him off, was they took him out. So that might continue, but I don't see that going all the way to WrestleMania. Maybe they'll do something to Chamber.
But yeah, exactly. There's not much. I mean, there's not much that left the Royal Rumble match that you were like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see that.
Well, here's the other thing I was gonna say. If we really want to get deep into fantasy booking, what I would have done if I had the pencil is, because here's the thing. This Brock and Roman feud, I've been enjoying it a lot. I've liked it better than any other for a feud they've had before. It's been a lot more interesting with the roles reversed and with the whole which side is Heyman on stuff. But with that said, as much as I liked it, I've seen these guys wrestle each other at WrestleMania twice already. I don't need to see it a third time.
Mm-hmm.
I would have had them blow their feud off at the Rumble, and I would have had them wrestle each other in a unification match, and I would have had Lashley win the Rumble, and then you go from there. Lashley versus either Roman or Lesnar. In my preference, it would have been Lesnar. because that match was hyped up for so long. But even Roman versus Lashley would be a big match, I think. I know they did it when Lashley first came back, but they're both like in such a better space now than they were then. It would be a lot more interesting now.
Agreed.
And that's just me.
I dig that.
That's just me. I know there's been a lot of talk about are they or aren't they going to unify the titles. I'm thinking they're probably not going to. I wish they would. I don't like having two world champions.
I feel like they are.
You think they are going to?
Why else do Lesnar versus Roman with clearly it looks like Lesnar's going to win at Elimination Chamber?
Well, but if that's the case, they should have just had Lesnar retain.
But you're not going to have Lesnar
and then lose it back.
You're not going to have Lesnar lose back-to-back title matches to Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, that's true. I don't see
especially right before the Rumble.
I'm really shocked that Brock's going to even be in the chamber. That really shocks me. I feel like he would say no to doing that match. I mean, he'll probably come out last and just German suplex everybody and take no bumps. But
maybe this is his last run, and he's like, "Let me just do all this shit."
Yeah, could be.
Or what if McIntyre takes that moment from Lesnar at the chamber?
Well, is McIntyre listed yet?
I don't think he's listed yet. But if he is, even if he's not, even if he finds a way to kind of make it in to take that moment away from Lesnar, Lesnar's still going to Mania either way because he won the Rumble.
I don't think we're seeing Lesnar versus anyone other than Roman at WrestleMania. So, like,
that's definitely happening.
So, well, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying with Drew. Like, Drew wants to get revenge on him, but I don't really see where they could go with that.
Yeah, because they're not going to go Lashley versus McIntyre again.
Yeah, they can't do that again because that went on forever last year.
Yeah. I mean, I got nothing else to say about this Royal Rumble. If you guys want to say anything else, we could literally call it. And
I'm good.
Yeah, I don't really have any more to add. This podcast is ending as anticlimactically as the Rumble did.
Yeah. So yeah, this pay-per-view did not live up to the hype. I know that even the guests and the fun that we had was a little subpar, but you know, it happens. You know, sometimes people get too drunk and they just don't know when to stop screaming in my ear. But
Don Mattingly should have been in the Royal Rumble, and he should have.
I know
won.
He would have won
straight to the Hall of Fame.
He would have been in the Hall of Fame if he won. But yeah, we do have a couple episodes coming up. We haven't put them in the books yet. I know there's a couple of Know Thy Neighbors coming up. We have Boba Fett and Peacemaker and all these other shows that we could watch. We'll definitely put out some announcements for that. Remember to like, share, rate, review, comment, and subscribe to Disaster Party Podcast on all social media platforms, including YouTube, and hit the notification bell so when we are live, when we go live like we are right now, you will know, and then you can comment. We could read comments on the air, I guess. Yeah, Be Rent. I guess. Thank you for coming on again. We'll have you on again. I'm most certain we will.
I'm certain.
I'm
the draw. You gotta have the draw.
He is the draw. It's true.
We'll see. I'll check the views next week. We'll see.
But for Disaster Party Podcast, this is Rob Stanio.
Whoa, Daddy. It's Andy Bivians.
And we are out. Bye.